You're watching Pulse for the 11th of February and it's time for some Dota 2 beta news. While there may once again not have been an update this week, there is at least still something interesting to talk about and report on. In this week's episode we take a look at Valve or the Dota 2 dev team's plans for the next week or so, a bit of Blizzard versus Valve drama concerning the Dota name and more. Let's get straight to the news. First up, as I mentioned, while there may not have been an update this week, we're still being kept in the loop by the Dota 2 dev team, and they even have a pretty lengthy post up just telling us what's going to be happening over the next week or so. Firstly, they tell us that we're probably well aware that the number of people with access to Dota 2 right now is not equal to the size of the Earth's population, and that is obviously their internal estimate of the number of people who actually want Dota 2. I guess that sounds about right. That said, the primary reason that they haven't allowed everyone access to the game is because they don't yet have enough server capacity to run all the games it would require. Their server deployment team has spent the last few months flying around the world setting up server clusters to increase that capacity. Now I'm going to pause right there and just say that this mention has led a lot of people to believe that open beta is coming soon. It wouldn't surprise me if the Valve guys start the open beta for Dota 2 as soon as they start the Dota 2 test client up. It sort of makes sense. So the people who have access to the beta right now will get access to the beta, and everyone else will just get access to the normal or open beta, if that makes sense. I think it does. We'll have to wait and see though, but they say that the extensive network changes that they've been working on to support the new replay system, among other things, has resulted in significant changes to their servers. This is why they've taken longer than anticipated to get the next update out, and it's also the reason why they'll be taking all the Dota 2 servers down for 24 hours. This is starting on Tuesday the 14th of February at 11 AM. So yes, the servers are going down for 24 hours on Valentine's Day. On the bright side, and yes, there is actually a bright side to this, their game team has been working, as usual, building new heroes and features, so we can expect the next update, which they are apparently hoping to get out next week, to be a pretty packed one. Again though, sadly, no update this week, but a bunch of big mentions that could potentially lead to something much better than one quick update. You can read more about all of that below, and now let's move on to the next piece of news. So, it seems like Blizzard is taking legal action in opposition to Valve's trademark of the name Dota. Yes, this is actually a pretty big deal. Can you imagine Dota 2 launching with a different name? It just wouldn't be the same. Now I will mention that this actually first came up last year sometime, but it seems like things are moving ahead now, and I'm pretty sure we're going to hear more about this in the days to come. There isn't really much else to say at the moment at least, but it seems like Blizzard isn't really happy with the fact that Valve wants to take the name of Dota for themselves. What do you guys think of that? I mean, with Dota's storied past, is it that easy? Can you really give the name to one of these two companies? I guess we're gonna just have to wait and see, but I will say that with Dota 2 in development and Blizzard Dota in development, things could get a little awkward if one of these two companies isn't allowed to use the name. You can read more about this story below, and if you actually know more than what I mentioned here, feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you know. With that done, as this is going to be a pretty short episode, we're going to jump straight into the smalls now, and I will mention that most of these links are well worth checking out. You can find them in the description below this video. First up, there's a message from Gabe Newell to the Steam community, and this is actually concerning Valve's investigation of last year's security intrusion. You can read more about that below. Then apparently there's a polar bear cub that might well be named after Gabe, and if it does get named after Gabe, we might be seeing a polar bear cub courier in Dota 2 sometime soon. Yes, that's definitely something I'd cast a vote for. Then have a look at Defenders number 47, the Omni Knight. Have a look at some possible Dota 2 items or reskins. Then look at a pretty funny video of the top 10 reasons why Dota 2 sucks. Then lastly, read about the Dota 2 Celebrity Charity Challenge. Now I will mention that there are a bunch of extra links below that you can have a look at. These include results, recaps, interviews, and much more. Definitely worth having a look at if you want to know absolutely everything that happened in the past week of Dota. Sadly, that's all I have for you in this episode. Check back here soon for more. Remember to like the video and do all that other good stuff. Most importantly though, happy possible open beta coming soon.